Welcome to the Sustainable Sanitation and Water Management Toolbox. This tutorial is divided into two parts, a more general introductory part, this one here, and one explaining how to actually use the toolbox. This tutorial explains what the toolbox is, whom it is for, and how you can use it yourself. The Sustainable Sanitation and Water Management Toolbox was designed by Seacon International and its partners with three goals in mind. First, it is a learning and resource environment for people who wish to know more about water management and sanitation. Secondly, it wants to order and make available the large amount of information that is already there on these subjects. And thirdly, most important, it wants to contribute to making people understand that sanitation, water management and agriculture are inherently linked and always need to be considered jointly. Now, who is this toolbox for? The Sustainable Sanitation and Water Management Toolbox is particularly useful for water practitioners at the local level, such as NGOs or community-based organizations. However, it can also be used as an excellent and comprehensive information pool for students or for planners, or as a ready-made training tool for organizations giving courses, and it also offers the most important information for people at a decision-making level in a short and well-arranged format. So let's start. The Sustainable Sanitation and Water Management Toolbox is divided into these 5 main sections, about which I will talk in a minute. Furthermore, there is a bottom bar with the open source library, the glossary containing information on our partners, on courses, and also a contact button in case you have feedback or questions. So let me briefly explain the 5 main sections. In the concept, you find basic information on sustainable sanitation and water management, such as, for instance, on the water cycle, the nutrient cycle, explaining the concept of integrated water resources management, what sustainable sanitation is, and also why it is necessary to link these two concepts together. Understand Your System is a guided exercise to understand and prioritize your local problems. It takes you through the entire water cycle, from source to sea, helping you to detect problems and their interlinkages. This section is really useful if you are in a concrete problem situation and is an excellent introduction into a training course. The background section is useful for all kinds of users because it complements individuals' knowledge, for instance on environmental issues, economic issues, framework, sociocultural issues, etc. Now, the 2 main sections providing you with sustainable sanitation and water management tools. There is always 2 sides to a project, planning and implementation, and that's also why we have these 2 toolboxes here, the planning and process toolbox and the implementation toolbox. The planning section of the Sustainable Sanitation and Water Management Toolbox takes you through an entire planning cycle. Based on the classic project cycle, many organizations develop step-by-step programming and planning frameworks to carry out projects that you find here, in the middle. There is no consensus on how many steps this planning takes, but there are normally at least those 5 steps that you see here. If you click on one, you are taken to a collection of tools that you can mix and match, meeting your specific needs. Once you have identified stakeholders, their needs, local problems, and maybe already solutions, it's time to move to project implementation. This is where the implementation tools help you. Put very briefly, the implementation tools are a large collection of tools for all these areas of the water cycle, starting from sources, purification, distribution, use, collection, treatment, and reuse. This part of the toolbox is always divided into hardware and software, as we see if we click, for instance, on the recharge and reuse section. This pays tribute to the fact that you cannot only improve a situation technically with hardware tools and the technologies described here, but also with software tools, for instance by creating an enabling environment, by awareness raising, by command and controls tools such as standards, or by economic tools. Now, this is the first part of the tutorial. You can continue by exploring yourself or open the second part of the tutorial.